Hello, 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 88 BC Africa Village. We are featuring the powerful Janine Sickmeyer as episode 2 in our blockchain and fintech series. It's a bonus episode and it's all about organic growth and how to successfully market your startup. Today, tech entrepreneur Janine Sickmeyer joins us from Ohio in the States. She founded and built legal tech startup NextChapter, serving as CEO and founder for 6 years until it was acquired in September last year by Fastcase. Now, I'm going to say that again because I think for me that's what stands out about Janine's incredible journey is that she launched NextChapter, worked on it for 6 years, and it was acquired. What an incredible exit, Janine, really, pretty powerful. So as a first-time founder, she learned and managed software development. I don't know if I'll ever do that, hey? Product management, sales and marketing, finance and accounting, fundraising, user experience design, that's the other one I'm not so sure about, branding, customer success, client partnerships, and most importantly, how to take a sketch and turn it into a living, breathing product that people love to see. Well, yeah, I must say, I commend you, Janine, for learning to code and also the UX design piece. I always think that, I don't know if that's a space that I necessarily want to dabble in as a non-technical founder. So the fact that you've done that, well, pretty amazing. Janine is also passionate about sharing her startup story with female entrepreneurs and business leaders and to help them overcome challenges when starting a new venture. And I, again, also want to comment, really just give you a huge pat on the back for this one, Janine, because not a lot of founders would go out of their way the way you do to support other female founders. I love the way that you share your journey on Twitter, especially, and just being so open about not only supporting female founders, but Black female founders in particular. And I think, especially with what's happening in the States right now around Black Lives Matter, it's so cool, I'd say, to see you support Black founders the way that you do. So thank you for that. You're also writing your first book. Whoa. Guys, I mean, Janine is just all types of epic, in my view. She's also a mom, she's a wife, and we all have 24 hours in a day, but man, you use every single minute, Janine. So thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. I'm going to hand over to you to share a bit more about yourself, your journey, and then we can head into the masterclass. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Thanks for allowing me to speak to your whole group here and everybody who is thinking of building something right now, or just kind of starting that journey. I think that so I'll give you just a little bit of information about myself. I know that you shared my bio here, and it's so important to understand like my background before that even. So I didn't come from a wealthy background or a Ivy League degree or any of those important connections or anything like that. I was a paralegal. I went to a 2-year college. I was like, I don't know what I want to do next. Do I want to go back to school and become a lawyer, or like, I just didn't know. And so as a paralegal at a law firm, I started learning how to use all the software that was out there. But I noticed that none of it was online. And I really said, like, what's stopping them? Like, why isn't anyone doing this online? And So I actually contacted all of my competitors now, but I contacted them back then, and I asked, what is it going to take you to get online? Because I need to do my job faster and better. And they said, it works the way it is, so why would we want to change it? And so I was like, this seems like an opportunity. And I was 22 years old. And I was just like, I'll figure out how to do this. And so that was a very long journey of trying to figure it out. But it really started with me investigating and researching and just trying to understand how do you build technology? How do you create something out of an idea? And that was where I really started finding my passion for building and creating online, and being even though I wasn't a technical founder, I found some of the little joys in turning those ideas into an actual product. And so I actually learned just enough code to build a website and get some sort of signups and feedback and stuff. And nowadays there are so many other products that you can use, no code tools that are available that you can use to create these easy sites to get some feedback and traction before you actually launch a product. But back then that wasn't the case. So I was, digging my hands into the code, trying to learn what to do. And I kind of found that that was really enjoyable for me. So usually I tell founders, do what you love, outsource the rest. But for this is something that I really loved. And so I was enjoying the process, but I don't recommend everybody to learn how to code to build a business. That's not necessary today, especially with all the other tools that are out there. So yeah, I think it's so important to understand that, when I got started, I knew nothing about technology. I knew nothing about how to scale a product or build, I did know marketing though. Just naturally, I've always been a creative person, a very design oriented, marketing mind. And I didn't really realize it until I started a business. So that was, building it. And then I had to really kind of grow that for the next so many years, grow a team organically and cost effectively, because I was bootstrapping the entire thing. So I did go out, attempted to raise funding, did not get any funding, no capital for solo women founders in this space at that time. So I had a really hard time trying to raise money. I pitched over 80 times and it just didn't work out for me. So I ended up just going back to building. I continued to grow organically, just a little at a time. And then it started getting bigger and bigger, and more of our customers were referring us, and it just turned into this very successful product that we had 14% month over month growth, over 150% growth year over year for the final 2 years when we were acquired just last year. So it was definitely something that I was seeking too, was how do we grow? And for the acquiring company, they actually have a lot of users, a lot of customers in different markets. So where we were very niche in this one area, we looked at different opportunities for how can we get bigger without having to grow our market. So we were who else in this space has a large pool of people that we could maybe tap into? And that's where that conversation to become acquired started. So thinking, that way is always kind of interesting to people too, when I tell them, because they're well, how would you just get acquired? Did they just come to you and ask are you ready to sell your business? And it doesn't really happen that way. I think it's kind of a misconception. So I actually called, and I was the founder at this company, which is a competitor of ours. And I said, we're looking to grow. I'm not exactly sure the right way. Do you have any ideas? Could we possibly work with you? We know that you guys have a market. You have a lot of users that could potentially use our product. Maybe we could look at acquiring your, competitive product. And they were like, yeah, let's start the discussion. And so it turned into them acquiring us as a product, the company, everything. So it was really great, but all of it, really came from a lot of hard work, grit, like all the things you do as a founder, especially bootstrapping founder. So yeah, I'm happy to share, if you had any questions about that, or I can just go ahead and share some ideas that I have for startup marketing and how we were able to grow organically.
Yeah, just a quick one, Janine.
Yeah.
You called a competitor? You
Yeah.
competitor.
Yeah.
Again, how many of us would think about doing that, right?
I know.
In a world where we've been so programmed that it's dog eat dog, you could have thought about how do we take them out of the market. But instead you decided, I am going to have a different conversation with them. And what you have done, Janine, is something that I encourage our female founders to do all the time, is less competing, because we are not animals. So less competing like animals, and let's work more towards collaboration. And I think by you reaching out to a competitor in that way was very collaborative. I love it.
Yes. Yes, I know.
Change the world. I think that's what the 4.0 is all about. I think our next normal as we come out of this pandemic, we need to see more and more of this type of collaboration that can lead to, look at you, where you're at right now, how you guys have grown significantly. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
I'm
yes, of course.
And enjoy the rest of the session.
Okay, great. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, great. I know that's always one of the parts that I like to share, because it is a little bit unusual and it's not something that you typically think of doing as a founder. You're like, no, I want to keep my distance. I don't want them to know what I'm doing. I'm going to go under the radar, all of these things. And sure, we did that early on. But once we got to a point where we were confident in our product, it was like, how else can we grow? And I think that that's really important. I always tell founders to just keep your competition close, be friendly competitors, see how you can work with each other without collaboration is the key. And the more of that you can do, the more successful you both will be. There's enough room in the market for multiple players. Not only one person needs to be the winner. So, okay, so I will share my screen, and I have some marketing tips here to share. And if there's anything that you want me to kind of point on or touch on, let me know. So let me do this. And okay, all right, I have it here. Okay, so basically, some of these are going to be a little bit obvious, but I just wanted to kind of go through and give some ideas here. And I have this, if you wanted to share it after, with everyone here, then that would be fine too. So our most important marketing piece that we do at my company is email marketing. We use a product called GMass, and this is something that a lot of people may or may not know about. And so I do love to share it when I can, because it gives you really high open rates. We have a over 50% open rate, which is huge in email marketing. Usually that number is closer to 3-4%. So this is a very high number. It is a very inexpensive product, and it's a Gmail extension. So it's called GMass. It goes straight into the inbox. And they also allow you to make your subject lines mergeable with the content that you want to share with your audience. So, or the people that so you can say, hi, Dave, and then put your message. And by having their first name in it, by having some sort of recognizable word in that subject line, you're going to get their attention much easier. And it's very cost effective. It's like $20 a month in US dollars. So it's it's one piece that I often want to share, but then also I'm like, but then if I share it and then my, competitors here, even though I want to be friendly with them, I also don't want them to know everything I'm doing. So, you want to be touchy on that, but it's a very, very useful product. So also with social media, we do a lot of organic social media. It's really hard to quantify like what you're measuring. It's hard to get that exact KPI when it comes to organic social media. But when you're building your brand and your awareness, you want to make sure that you have a presence online, and you really can't underestimate the power of just putting a simple image or a tweet, or, putting yourself out there, being vulnerable, being authentic, sharing, as much as you can. Build in public, let people know what you're building, ask questions, because those are the connections and relationships that are going to come about very authentically and organically. And it is hard to quantify. I get that a lot. A lot of people say, but I can't tell how many, users or signups I'm getting from Twitter. Like, is it worth my time? And my answer is always yes. I've gotten a lot of opportunities, a lot of speaking engagement opportunities, press, all kinds of things from social media. So I think, never underestimate the power of social media and being authentic in that space. Print marketing. Okay, so we think that print marketing still works. For my audience, they're lawyers. So it does for us. It is expensive, but we put out magazines, we send postcards, letters. You need to, for B2B, it works well. You need to understand your audience and where they are. But for us, lawyers get mail, they get mail from the court, they get mail from, other peers in the industry, they get magazines. So when we think about who our audience is, for us, we say our audience is sitting in in an office with a mahogany desk, their feet kicked up, reading a magazine. And so we made a magazine for them to read. So you have to think about who is it that you're targeting. For us, it's print marketing. It's not always the case for everybody else, but I do like to share that. Okay, and then we have my AirPods here just went out. Okay, can you still hear me okay? Okay, great. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so we're saying, it doesn't just, marketing doesn't just end once the lead comes through and they become a paying customer. Now you need to start your customer marketing strategy, which often includes a lot of customer support, really is what it turns into. But this is where you need to start delighting your customers. You increase, you have to think about ways to subtly upcharge them, but make sure that you're first and foremost just being there for them to support them through whatever the product or services that you're doing. So, you think customer success or customer support might not be marketing, but we don't think that. We think marketing still goes through, all the way through the lifetime of this customer. So you're going to want to, the most important thing here is, especially with SaaS products or, for us, the B2B SaaS, is retention is the number one metric. So you want to make sure that we're keeping these customers happy and reducing churn and keeping the retention high. So obviously your website is the most important thing that you're going to get all of your users coming through. So you need to get that in check. Make sure you're, think strategically about all of the different pages that you want, create pages based on where your target, what your target audience is searching for, and create a list of all of those keywords. Look that up in Google. What are they searching for? If they're searching for bankruptcy software for lawyers, you need to take that specific term, bankruptcy software for lawyers, and put those keywords smushed together like that in your content, like all throughout your page. So do that, build your whole keyword list of 100, words, and say every single which way that you would search for your product or service, and then make sure that you include those so that you can keep, make sure you have SEO, it's just search friendly content. That's what we're looking for. So, and then clean, straightforward design. That's what people want to see. So paid ads are a really good place to start when you're looking at like, how do you want to market your company on, a budget. Like for startups, you can make an ad in Canva, create a very cost-effective, you don't need a designer. You can just build an ad, put it up on Facebook, put it up on Google, on, Twitter, and run it and give it a shot. What do you have to lose? $10 a day, maybe. You can set the campaign to, a certain budget per month. And then when it runs out, try it again next month, And that's what I did for a while, because I really wasn't able to, put a lot into ads. But when I did, I noticed I had a lot more signups. So it was really, now we have, I think Facebook is our second highest search, marketing channel for our signups coming in. But it's, and we only have a couple ads up, but they just work so well. And the more simple the ad, the better. I've done a lot of A/B testing for a lot of different styles of ads. And we love to run those campaigns to see what works and what doesn't. And every single time, it's always the exact same one. It's just a simple message that just says the future of law is here and has a picture of a computer with our product on it. And I'm like, every single time, we have the exact same thing, but it works. So we keep it going. Okay, so PR is, this is a little bit more difficult, but it is really important. PR can get very costly. If you're hiring a PR firm, they can be very expensive, but it's very important. So you want to make sure that you can find some additional ways to kind of do this inexpensively, I guess. So using something like Haro, which is helpareporterout.com, they have, they kind of give you so it's a place for reporters to go and say, I need an expert in blockchain. And then you can say, oh, I know somebody, or I know myself, and you can respond to them and say, give them the pitch, and then they can choose to accept it. If they accept it, they put it in the, in the publication. And we've gotten a few articles that way where I didn't even know that they had accepted because they don't tell us. But then later on, we're like, oh, we were featured in, entrepreneur.com or something. It's like you find out later and you're like, wow, that was worth the, 30 minutes I put into writing that pitch. So it's something like that is really a great place to start with PR anyway. And also just, making sure that you can talk to people who, are looking for experts in that space. So find reporters who are in your niche and follow them, and they like that. So I've done that too, just cold pitch reporters about bankruptcy numbers, and and I'm like, hey, we have this new, these are some of the bankruptcy numbers that are happening because of the COVID, and here's how NextChapter can help, coming up with angles and giving them a story. That works a lot. Okay, and then this is obviously very important. Content is everything right now. You have to make sure that you're putting out content all over the place on medium.com, on LinkedIn, on your own site, as having your own blog, and keeping that content as yours is also important. And then building your email list and sending out newsletters and sending out, and then if you have the content, if you make a very let's say a long blog post and you put it on Medium, you can take that post, chop it up into a whole bunch of little pieces, share it on social media, share it, you know, in your newsletter, reference back to that post. And then maybe that post would get shared, you know, or picked up by somebody else. Maybe that post will be, I've heard of a lot of entrepreneurs who get book deals from Medium posts where they post, they'll post an article, talk all about something they're passionate about, long, you know, 2,000 word article. And then they'll get a message from the publisher who says, have you thought about writing an actual book about this? And so you don't know what could happen if you know, put your words out there, like be vulnerable and authentic, like I'm saying about social media, same with content. And if you have a budget, it's great to work with freelancers because there's so many writers out there who have the time. And, you know, if you sit in front of your computer and just look at it and say, I don't know what I'm writing, I don't have the time, or you're, you know, writer's block or anything, there's people out there that can whip out an article for you and you can come in, edit, review, post, and it could be, you know, a pretty inexpensive way to get yourself out there. So here, just general tips and a little bit of final advice here. Really, I always say you have to overshare. I'm like, if people aren't saying, wow, you tweet too much, or, you know, stop sending me emails, then you're not sharing enough. You need to keep on sharing. You need to keep sending emails. We send way too many emails, but it's because half the time people throw it in the trash. You know, you'd have to keep going. So make sure to just keep sharing. And if people aren't telling you that it's too much, then you need to do it more. And my team always laughs at me about that because I'm like, we haven't been told that we're sharing too much lately. We need to do more. So yeah, and try it all, you know, try everything and see what sticks, because you don't know, like it might be for you, Twitter ads might not work at all. And that's the case for me. It never works. I always come back to it every couple months and try again, but it just doesn't work. Our users are not there, and that's okay. Like, but we know that they're on Facebook. So, you know, it might be TikTok for you. Like you might have a really cool video that you put up on TikTok and it might get a lot of views. And then like, you notice that all of your all of your customers could be there. So be transparent, authentic, like, you know, just be who you are. Don't have to, you know, gone are the days when people are like, oh, you're only a small company. Oh, well, I don't want to work with you. Like that is not the, you know, I used to pretend to be this big company when it was just me, and nobody needed to, you know, just be who you are, and people appreciate that. And yeah, so that's all I have for today here, and I will get myself back on here. But I just wanted to share, you know, those pieces of advice, and if there's anything you wanted to talk about, I'm happy to kind of elaborate, or I can send over the deck for everyone to have.
That'd be great, Janine. If you could share the deck so that I can share it with our female founders.
Wonderful.
But two things stood out for me today. And I guess I'm still grappling with this a little bit. It is being vulnerable and authentic. I think it's the vulnerability piece, and especially on social media, where you can get dragged for anything, right? Especially on Twitter. I think the vulnerable and the authentic stood out. So I'm definitely going to take that for myself. And then overshare in that vulnerable, authentic space, to overshare that vulnerability and authenticity. Yeah. I'm going to challenge myself, maybe from next week, to really start doing that, because I have been feeling for a while that, especially from a social media perspective, I haven't quite been as authentic as I can be here, as I am with our female founders, you know, and I don't want the two personalities to be different. So I want to bring some of that authenticity back onto social media. So thank you.
Yeah. And it's, oh yeah, of course. It's hard too, because I was the same way for a very long time. I was like, how much am I allowed to, like, what should I say? What should I, you know, and honestly, my husband's like, did you just put that on there? I was like, you know what?
My audience likes it, so don't you worry about what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't have to do with you. But like, he is a very like introverted, personal person. Like, and I get that. Like, a lot of people don't have that, you know, desire to like share everything that they have. But if you can, and if that's you, you know, but if that's not you, that's not authentic either. So that's okay. Like, you don't have to be, you know, out there and share everything. But if that's who you are, then, you know, I think just follow your, you know, your passion, your purpose. Like, think about like how you enjoy spending your time on, and if it is not, you know, if you don't enjoy it, that's fine too. So sometimes I'm like, the best mental health, you know, tips are sometimes to just get offline, like just completely get offline, text your girlfriend privately, and, you know, take a warm bath. Like, you don't need to, you know, always share everything online, but sometimes the best things are just to relax. So
And I
yeah,
think
this was
back to being authentic, just staying true to yourself. So if Medium isn't a better platform, because I'm a deep thinker, then maybe, you know, something that I need to start thinking about. But Janine, again, thank you. I know you're busy, and I do appreciate you
this
taking
was
time
fun.
out to share with us today. Really enjoyed it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And hopefully we'll feature you at our blockchain bootcamp in March next year. But we'll
That'd
stay.
be great. Yes, thank you so much. It was so nice to connect, and I hope this was valuable for everybody. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.